my name is Stephanie Wills, and this is Module 4, Understanding My Community, Russell Child Development Center in Garden City, Kansas. First slide talks about customs and traditions. When I think about Russell Child Development Center, a lot of traditions come into my mind. The tradition of having evidence-based practice and providing models, the coaching model, and evaluations and home visits, and doing all of those things with research to back what we're doing and the progress that we're making and how we're working with our families. Another thing that we do at Russell Child Development Center, monthly staff meetings, informational sessions. I don't know if we would really call those traditions, but I think when you hold that tradition of doing good service, that can definitely be included in that process. We uphold high standards for the work that we do, working with the families, working with each other, working with community members. The majority of our staff have master's degree, and we have a very low turnover rate. Most of our staff has been with Russell Child Development Center for 15 years or over. Usually we lose staff to retirement or life changes like moving, having children, things like that. But our staff usually stays pretty consistent. One of the things that we do for Russell Child Development Center that happens yearly and is a really exciting tradition is our Fantasy Tree Festival. Because we are a nonprofit organization, we do a lot of different things to raise money for our organization, and the Fantasy Tree Festival happens to be one. It takes place for the Saturday right before Thanksgiving, and it's a live auction that we do at one of the hotels in the community. The community is invited to buy tickets for the event. We have raffles of many different things. You can win trips, you can win laptops, lots of different things that you can win. The things that we raffle off during the Fantasy Tree Festival include Christmas trees, vacations, sporting event tickets, and really anything that you can think of. Our community is really involved in this program by making donations, and like I said, buying tickets and coming to the event. This year, we made the most that we've ever made since I've been working at Russell Child Development Center. This year we made $110,000 through our Fantasy Tree Festival, which is pretty exciting for us. And I think people are just really excited to get back into doing things in person since we weren't able to do it last year. Another thing that we do as part of our traditions is the Children's Christmas Party, which actually falls on the same day as the Fantasy Tree Festival, but is in the morning. This is a Christmas party that we have for all the kids that we provide services for in all of our 13 counties. We meet at one of the hotels in Garden City and invite our families to come. We have Santa Claus come, and the families can take pictures with Santa Claus. They then get books that they can take home with their families and read together. We give them snacks. Usually there's an activity that they can do. This year, because of COVID, we didn't have a lot of different activities. We did a coloring activity, had the snacks and pictures with Santa Claus, and then gave the children backpacks as they left. Thinking about the community, there's some different customs and traditions and things that are particular to Garden City. Farming, agricultural feedlots, that's definitely something you will see around this area. Tyson is also something that's very impactful in this community, natural gas and oil. We're also an extremely diverse community with over 20 different languages, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in the presentation. Another great tradition that we have here in Garden City is the Richardson Zoo, which is a free zoo, and it has some great exhibits. We have pretty much any animal that you can think of. We have the giraffes and the monkeys and the otters, really anything, and it's free, so it's a great asset to our community. Another thing that's a great asset and brings great tradition to our communities, the Garden City Community College brings both academic tradition and athletic tradition. We've won some state football championships in the last few years, so that's been really exciting. Another thing that brings great tradition to Garden City is the swimming pool. The swimming pool is actually located right next to the Richardson Zoo and used to be called the Big Dipper swimming pool. And it used to be one of the world's largest free swimming pools, which was pretty exciting. Usually at the end of the swimming season too, because it was right next to Lee Richardson Zoo, they would take the elephants in and let them swim in the pool before they emptied it. Right now they've redone some done some renovations and kind of turned it into more of a swim park kind of thing. So it's not quite the same thing and it's not free anymore, but it was definitely a tradition while that lasted. Another thing that is in Garden City is the Beef Empire Days. That's something that happens every year, and it usually lasts about a week. A lot of barbecues, rodeos, things like that. We also have the Tumbleweed Festival, which is a musical festival that happens every year. They bring in just different music like bluegrass, anything, just different things like that that community members can come listen to, and even community members can perform at this. We have a variety of community groups in Garden City, which I think bring great tradition to our community and support each other very, very well. Another thing that we have in Garden City, which is so interesting, is a lot of historical buildings and sites, especially downtown. This picture up here is a picture of our Windsor Hotel, which is downtown Main Street in Garden City. And it was actually built in 1889 by John A. Stevens. It had 126 rooms and was one of the grandest hotels in America at that time. In 1972, it was added to the National Registry for Historical Places by the National Park Services. However, then in 1977, it was closed. But back in 1996, the Finney County Preservation Alliance raised money and received grants to restore the facility, and so now they do a lot of tours and host benefit events there. A lot of our downtown area is historical. A lot of the buildings are historical. A lot of the homes are historical, so lots of history in Garden City. Next thing talking about is just the population characteristics of our community. Garden City has a population of 26,282. Talking about education demographics, we have less than 9th grade, 17.5%, 9th to 12th grade, 12.6%, high school graduates, 22.3%, some college, 23.3%, associate's degree, 7.6%, bachelor's degree, 10.5%, and graduate degrees, 12.6%. What I found really interesting about this information was that females have the higher associate's degree and graduate degrees compared to males. Also looking at this information, our median age in Garden City is 30 years old, with 18,772 adults, 3,046 senior citizens, and with the gender being almost half and half, 52% male, 47.9% female. And as I work with Russell Child Development Center and working with children birth to age 3, looking at this demographic really makes me think of people at the age of 30, are married or getting married and starting to have families. So the opportunity to provide services for people in our community is really great. We have a lot of people in that age range that have children and young children and need our services. Population characteristics. A lot of occupations here in Garden City. The top occupation is Tyson, which employs about 3,600 employees. The next one is the USD 457, the schools district here, which employs 1,313 employees. The school district here has 11 grade schools, 2 intermediate centers, 2 middle schools, and 1 high school. There's also 1 early childhood center where we transition the kiddos that we provide services to. Next would be the St. Catherine's Hospital. There's 612 employees. It's one of the bigger hospitals in the community and in this area. It's also a hospital that does have a NICU, so a lot of babies are born here, and we can provide the services needed if they require a NICU stay. 350 employees work for the city of Garden City, and Garden City Community College employs 313 people. Talking about the race in our community, we have 52% Hispanic, 38.3% white, and 5.3% Asian, and 3.6% Black or African American. Our nationality, we're quite diverse. We have a lot of families from Burmese, Somalia, Ethiopia, Mexico, so really a diverse culture and community here in Garden City. What are some of the community channels that we use to communicate, that the schools communicate with, and our community communicates with? Social media, a lot of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We also have several radio stations, local radio stations, and several Spanish-speaking radio stations. There are several newspapers in Garden City, but the most widely known one is the Garden City Telegram. How extensively are the channels of communication used? I feel like all of the channels are used, but the ones that are used most as far as Russell Child Development Center would definitely be social media. We use that a lot to communicate with our stakeholders, with our families and providers. And I think that the most effective for reaching different audiences in the community is definitely the Spanish-speaking radio and social media in the newspaper. Next one is talking about community groups. We have a lot of different community groups here that can help out our families that we provide services to. Community groups include church groups. A lot of our church groups here in the community have food pantries, give family support, so we definitely give that information to a lot of our families and make it a resource for them. We have United Way, which they provide funding for nonprofit organizations. We do get grant money from United Way. For that grant money, we are required to do so many hours of community service. So that's a great partnership in getting out in the community for us. The Chamber of Commerce, which promotes business growth and networking, they meet once a month in our community and have a great big breakfast, which is a great place to partner and network with people. Another organization of our community is the Lions Club. They do a lot of grants and really work a lot with vision and helping families access vision, glasses in particular. I'm also our teacher of the visually impaired at Russell Child Development Center, so I do a lot of work with the Lions Club and have actually gone to quite a few meetings with them. We partner with them a lot. Another organization in our community is the Elks Club, which has a lot of social activities. Western Kansas Community Foundation, Western Kansas Community Foundation, they have a lot of grants. They also do a lot of funding of nonprofit organizations and can also be a great resource for families in our communities. The library is a great community resource here. They have a lot of great family groups, a lot of great children programs that they offer. We also have a Rotary group which does community service. They actually are partnering with the Lions Club and do a lot of their meetings together. We have Families Together, which supports children with disabilities and helps their families in navigating IFSPs, IEPs, any of that information. And Kansas Children's Service League, they also offer a lot of family supports. There's also a lot of other great community resources that I didn't list here, like our YMCA, Big Brothers Big Sisters, a lot of those groups as well. Talking about leadership in our community, when I think of leadership, I think a lot about our community elected officials, administration at the school, USD 457, we have a lot of church groups, the Chamber of Commerce, business leaders, and also just our executive director at our Russell Child Development Center. She's very active in the community and really takes part in a lot of these leadership roles and partnering with a lot of places in our community. Economic conditions. Income for males, $43,300, females, $27,740. Our unemployment rate is 3.9, which is really quite good. Overall, our poverty rate is 12.38%, and I would say that a large portion of the families that we provide services to are in that poverty rate. We've had a lot of really great opportunities for business in Garden City. One of the new things developing is Empirical Foods, which is a ground beef facility expected to be finished in 22-23, which will be bringing 250 new jobs. We also have lots of continued business growth with locally owned places and a lot of housing development, and it continues to grow in our community.